welcome to Upturned Table, and today we have something very special from the great folks at Spellcrow Games. So this is a couple of starter armies for their new war game called Argatoria. So Argatoria takes place in the universe that they've already been working on with a previous game, the Umbraturus game, which I believe is more of a skirmish game. But this is rank and file fantasy battle, and Barbarians and Lizardmen are the kind of dominant races there. So they were kind enough to send me, it looks like 2 boxes together, and this is a 10mm rank and file fantasy battle game with surprisingly detailed 10mm miniatures. So let's take a look at this. So I've separated the 2 boxes now so we can take a look in each, and this came wrapped in plastic and very well protected, so thank you so much. The spring weather here can be a little unforgiving as early summer, so everything arrived safe and sound. So let's take a look. All right, so here we go. So our first army, look at that, and seriously, one of the best logos in wargaming. That is just beautiful. So here's our Vandral. Vandral look like our Barbarian cast, so it looks like we've got some Barbarians and Amazons in there, and some dwarf looking, maybe. We'll take a look once we get these guys open. Oh, and possibly some ogres, some larger humans. Oh, excellent. And a couple of buttons with our faction logos on them. That's great. Pin badges. Very good. And here we go. Looks like a couple of beasts. Yeah, Ravengers. So a clamshell of, it looks like 4 Ravengers. Oh, nice. Some mounted troops. Wow, even color on the back of the card. Very nice production. So Spellcrow is based in Poland. So, and they've been at this, making a lot of conversion bits and things for other well-known fantasy games, and since about 2011. So they've been at it for a while, and now they've got their own game systems and world building that they're doing. Oh, excellent. And here's, in the second box, our Arox starter army for our Lizardmen. Excellent. Oh, wow. Oh yeah, take a look. So we'll go through each of these. And our rulebook, yeah, this is very lucky timing. This just came out before they thought maybe they would have to send without this because this wasn't back from the press yet. But we will take a look at the English rules. So right now the rules are available in both English and Polish as a PDF, and now a printed softcover book. So we'll flip through that, and we'll do a separate video for kind of rules explanation and how the system works. But during the flip through, you might get a pretty good idea of what's going on. And there's also, it feels like, another clamshell in here. Hopefully some big guys for the Lizardmen. Oh, excellent. Look at this. So Desaurus with a sun monolith. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that looks like a major leader. We'll pop these guys open and let you see in detail. And what have we here? So there are 2 Ziploc bags with the Spellcrow logo on them. Oh, here we go. Movement trays. That's right. So they produce their own movement trays because they're doing 10mm miniatures. Excellent. Wow, that was very kind. So this was sent to us for free from Spellcrow as a review copy, so we want to go through everything and give you an idea of what this game is about and what the production is like and everything. And so yeah, it looks like we've got a pretty complete... Oh, okay, there we go. Oh, and last but not least, look at that. A ruler with the excellent logo on it, and as you'll notice, it's in centimeters. So the game is measured in centimeters because it's a scaled down game, so the numbers don't get as big when you're at that scale. So nice. And I think in one of the videos I watched about the game, they were offering these to shops that were supporting the game as prizes for tournaments and things. So that's great. Got our movement there. So excellent. So here's our 2 starter boxes. with our additional miniatures. These are great. And movement trays. And it looks like it's going to be enough just looking from what's on the box. It looks like there are 4 in here. Yeah. Oh, these may be some... Oh, so these are actually different sizes. There we go. It looked similar, but yes. So these are different sizes. So 4 of each. So this looks like it'll take a single rank and then a double rank. Nice. Yeah, these are well made. Yeah, very... Another another company, old world fantasy style, nice movement trays. Yeah, that's great. All right. Yeah, so 4 of each of the, looks like a single rank and double rank. Well, that's wonderful. I'm glad they included that. Yeah, I was wondering if they were going to be in the boxes or not. Well, very good. So what should we do first? Well, first let's take a look at the actual game itself. So I think we've got, it's a nice glossy cover. You can see my crazy lighting setup right there. So great battles in the Barbarians world. Far to the west spreads a vast land of wild tribes, Argatoria. Some of the inhabitants believe in the old gods who, though silent, have been a big influence on their followers. In the majestic temples, priests overwhelmed by madness call for wars in the name of faith. Those who look with contempt on the weak old gods believe in strength and struggle, thanks to which they can gain new lands full of animals and riches. Great armies of reptilians join the battle to stifle the arrogance of humans and show them that the oldest race can today only be a slave to the proud inhabitants of Reptus. The time of blood, time of war, it's a time of Argatoria. Nice. So in this rulebook, it contains all the necessary information to play huge battles. So detailed and clear rules, description of races and the history of Argatoria, rules of the armies, photos of painted miniatures, introduction to painting the armies, and wonderful illustrations and stories and battle scenarios. Wow, yeah, so this is hot off the presses. This just came out before they shipped it. And like I said, there's a Polish and English version right now, and hopefully we will see some more. Yeah, really nice production. Full color. So here's our painted miniatures on the inside. And looks like they've got terrain, temples and buildings as well. Nice. So there's a little of the background. Since the dawn of history, human race had waged war in every corner of the world. They had faced other races as well as great beasts, but most fiercely they always fought against the oldest of their enemies, other humans. Darkness had divided them, and the evil that emerged from its depths disturbed their minds. The feuding tribes of Argatoria were consumed by a chaos of war, led by legendary champions supported by mythic sorcerers and shaman. They destroy everything in their path in the name of their lords or gods. Great cities are burning, while one race after another join the Great War. The conflict is fought in its southern parts, near Ugrak in the Savage Lands, at the foot of the Alorn Mountains, near the Alglash Forest, and in the Beast Wastelands. Old fortresses fall, and new ones are built in their place. Death takes its toll, but new warriors, even more stubborn and determined, come to replace the fallen. Nice, yeah. So they have a nice piece of lore writing here to give you the background. Oh, this looks like fiction set in the world. That's nice. Oh, no, that's history. Yeah, it's the fluff. Their history. And yeah, lots of great illustrations. Excellent. And here's all the credits for the game. This is 1.1 rules. Excellent. And here's our index, everything we have. So right now there's 4 tribes, and then all the rules for the game. So initiative and movement, charge and combat, hero actions, prayers, heroes, magic spells and items, army colors, and then painting your army, and then the probably the stats, the army stat lines, and starting the games and scenarios. Nice, yeah, nice production. Yeah, it's, even though it's black and white, it's on a like a semi-glossy, like a matte gloss, or like a semi-gloss paper. So it's nice and durable. It's not gonna yellow or get stained. So Galthor, and the description of that. Nice, it's some champion art. So here are the tribes. There's so many of them that the names of some are forgotten because they died in the depths of time, exhausted by fights or a curse of power. In their place, new young adventurous tribes are emerging, who look to the future with optimism and arrogance. However, this land can be capricious, and sometimes it rewards the losers, casting the victors into the abyss of hunger or plague. So here's our Sorgaks, our Aroks. Oh, I like, yeah, they have a little line underneath. So the Sorgaks, those who feed on pain, children of the dying stars, guardians of the water temple. And the Aroks are reborn might, lords of the sun cities, hot bloods. There's the Vandrel, sons and daughters of the great harlot, bathed in blood, god slayers. Durandus, wolves wandering through the land of sorrow, chosen of the old gods, unbending. Nice. So it looks like we have like a forest barbarian, and then more of a northern, like a Nordic barbarian human tribe, and I think a brighter, like a water, and then sun lizardmen. Yeah, and they even give you suggestions. This is great. They give you suggestions at the bottom here on how to paint the miniatures as far as their color schemes. So the Aroks' skin colors are very intense. The Sorgaks have various skin colors, but in general are cold, rather cold in tone. And then for the Vendrels are suntanned skin, which they paint red. Oh, nice. So they got, yeah, like red body paint and markings. And the Duradis have fair skin and red hair. That's great. So you have the look, and especially that's a nice guidance because there's a lot of black and white in the interior. So without either like the photos, either taking a look at the photos that they're painted, it's good that they give you an actual description. Yeah, lots of character art. So here's the introduction. Yeah, so 10mm. And so you can fight great battles on normal sized tables. Yeah, that's great. The size of your battlefield is much smaller. So the game table needs to be at least 150 centimeters by 90 centimeters. Larger tables could be 180 by 90. That's great. That's a very standard kind of classroom table or office, like a conference room table here in Japan, and probably in Europe as well. Measuring is in centimeters. 6-sided dice are used. You'll need at least 20 of those. And then pen and paper to track your stats and army. So collecting your army, great competition, and then a few guides. Excellent. Yeah, so like I said, we'll make a separate video and do some demonstration of simple turns of the game. So this will just be a quick kind of look at the rules and the production of the book itself. So preparing the table. So I have one or more terrain pieces after playing a few battles. Yeah, so they say just before the game, just kind of don't worry about that terrain for your first game. That's probably good advice because that'll involve a lot more maneuvering. So the turn, so after both players take their turn, that's called a cycle, and it's followed by another initiative test and hero actions. So each army must include at least 4 units and 4 heroes. The units consist of square bases, and have at least 4 bases. So 1 rank in 10 mil. In this game, 10 mil 1 rank is 4 bases. A unit can have a maximum of 4 bases in 1 rank, and a full unit cannot have more than 4 ranks on 1 base. So therefore, it could contain from 4 to 16 bases. And because of this is, a scale down, the models themselves are representative of, hundreds of warriors. So it's supposed to, like in all of the smaller scale, a single figure, like a single soldier on a base, is actually, a representative of, hundreds of soldiers, so that you're imagining these masses that just aren't depicted, every single one. So it's more of an abstract representation. So the army must have at least 4 heroes. Heroes are the general, the champions, the command groups, and mages. So they're placed on 25mm round bases and move separately. So your ranks are on square, and your heroes are on round. That's nice, because I think they can attach themselves to the larger units. So deployment, measuring and keeping distance. So during the battle, always keep a minimum distance between your own units and also from other enemy units, so that they do not touch each other. Units can be in direct base contact with each other only when they are engaged. So initiative and activation rolls. So before the initiative test, both players place a d6, which will be referred to as the action dice, behind each unit to find out who will activate their units first. Both players roll a d6 and add the general's LD, and the player with the highest score wins initiative. Now you roll 2d6. This roll is commonly referred to as the activation roll. The lower score on one of the dice tells the player how many units he must activate. Oh, that's very cool. So multiple activations in a turn. Nice. So to activate a unit, the player removes its action die, makes any action with it. An action can be a move, a charge, etc. By removing the action die, the player activates the unit and declares which action he is going to make. After making an action with the given unit, he proceeds to remove the action die of any other units by his choice to make actions with it. He must activate exactly as many units as the lower score of the activation dice. If he activates as many units as the die showed him, his opponent now makes their activation roll. So after getting a certain score, the opponent activates his units according to the lower score. This process then occurs alternating until neither player has any action dice next to units. Interesting. So you can, that will definitely swing. So it's not only winning initiative, but actually rolling higher activations that will give you the ability to outmaneuver each turn, each cycle. So after removing the action die that marks the activation of the unit, the player must decide what to do with that unit. So if for any reason a unit has lost an action die, if that can be caused by a spell, the player cannot activate that unit. Oh, interesting. And during, so for the movement during activation, they can move their mobility plus a d6. Nice. And of course, remember that's all in centimeters. All right. Oh, if you want to turn a unit, place a 12mm die or a dedicated turner in the middle of the front edge. Oh, so they're showing you, if you're turning, so you use the die in the center of the movement tray, and then rotate along that. Oh, that's great. That's a good reference, and also keeps the movement consistent, keeps the turning consistent. Nice. So yeah, just place the die down and don't move the die, and just rotate around the d6. That's a really good idea. So, and they're suggesting too that you use the 10mm d6s, the smaller size d6s for that. And then charging, unit positioning, and here's some instructions on engagement. And failed charges, and then the fight. After charge, you must fight immediately. If your opponent's unit has suffered some losses and does not have a full rank of 4 bases, it might be physically possible to have all your bases in contact with the enemy. Yeah, they're giving examples of that here. So hitting in combat, the weapon skill test. So that determines how well a unit fights in combat. To check if the unit hits, you need to score equal or less than its weapon score. So if there is a score of 1 rolled, it means a double hit. Nice, so rolling under on d6s. That's nice. Yeah, that. Once you get that in your head, it'll be good. But I've done that with roll under systems where people roll 20s, and I'm very happy about it. And then I realize, oh wait, that's a failure. So if a unit has been attacked by an enemy from 2 or more sides, it can choose which targets to attack. So wounding, removing models, combat results, hero death, and then the end of the cycle. So the combat results, so at the end of the cycle, you do a cold blood test, a panic test, and then regrouping after a combat. Interesting. And then how prayers work. And then the heroes, what the generals, champions, and command groups and mages do. Then the list of magic spells and magic items. Oh, look at that. That's great. Yeah, Lizardmen versus humans. That's perfect. The charge. Nice, another piece. Fiction the moment. Oh, this is great. And here we go. Here's our color section. So, army colors. They're showing you the... Oh, that's great. Yeah, they're kind of opposing the body paint between the two humans, blue and red, so you can easily identify them. So if they're fighting each other, if you're doing human versus human, you'll be able to identify easily. And then the cool colored reptiles and the hot colored reptiles. Yeah, I went for the sun-based, the Aerox, very bright colored, red, orange, and yellow. Yeah, that'll stand out nice against a green. Oh, look at that. So here's our painting your army guide. So clipping out all of the ranks, and then putting them on bases, and then showing you guys kind of basic sanding. Yeah, I'm going to need maybe some finer grained sand. I think the coarse sand I have is going to look like boulders next to these little guys. And then priming, and then going through the process of paint. Yeah, you can get some nice detail. Yeah, we'll take a look at those. I'll get those up in the camera for you. And here's a paint guide. Wow, this is super nostalgic. This looks like a certain old world. See, this is what happens if you're a certain company is trying to bring back an old world that they blew up in their lore, which was idiotic. I guess for legal purposes it wasn't. And that gives people the opportunity to do games that capture that flavor better and are more savage and have a nice brutal feeling. And if they're going to half-ass it, then there's going to be companies that will fill that gap. And look at this. Look at the scale of this. I mean, it's 10 millimeter, but this is still a massive army. Massive armies arrayed against each other. That's excellent. Yeah, that looks really good. But yeah, just the layout of those pages. There's a lot of nostalgia there, and even just the color sections. Yeah, look at that. Nice. And they have a little description on the painters, all the artists that worked on the painted models in the photographs. That's great to give credit. I mean, that's something that's not done enough is, people contributing to hobbies and things, because for the most part, if they're not, employees or contractors of the studio, they're doing it for the love of the hobby. So a little bit of credit goes a long way. Yeah, very cool. Oh, they do. Yeah, this is a really nice big section. Yeah, so it looks like every unit, they're showing you a painted version of every unit. Because here's some of these big Brits. Very cool. Yeah, really well photographed. Yeah, very nostalgic in that look. I think they really captured Something that went away. And here's our army lists. Oh, good. They go over choosing an army. So different things to consider. So the units are divided into basic, elite, rare, and unique. So when building your army, you must follow certain guidelines to give for given unit types. And then they go through and explain what you can take and how many. So be prepared for the first battle to be full of questions and mistakes, as always, when you learn the rules of new armies. So the more battles you play, the faster you learn the rules, and so you'll treat the first few games as just lessons. Yeah, learning games are important. That's great. There's fiction throughout, so they're really trying to reinforce the setting. I think that's a good thing to do when they, come up with a good flavor and a good setting. It's good to keep being immersive with it. So the Iraq's the basic unit. So we've got. And the army has a special rule. So the whole army has a special rule. Hot blood. They may reroll an initiative test. Nice. Basic units: the chosen. Elite units: the primeval, the reptilian, the sanctified. Rare units are the rapochons. Oh, kind of all dinosaur names, right? The trigodrons. Diosaurus with Sun Monolith. Oh yeah, that's the one that they included. I can't wait to see that. And then Golden Guards and Foregun are unique units. And then the heroes are Command Group, Champion of the Sun, Champion of Nature, of Gods, Mystic of the Reborn, Sunseer. Nice. And then other point values per model is just right there after the name. So the Sogax. Their army rule is Heralds of the Torment, so they may issue one additional free order per cycle if the opponent has suffered certain losses during the battle. Check how many blood points your opponent has lost. Nice. Yeah, so each army has a nice flavor. So their base units are Tormentors, the elites are Scourges, Reptilians, and then the rare units are the Fallen, the Martyrs of the Vorodan, Slagors, Diosaurs with the Tomb Altar, and Crushers with the Scavars are the uniques. And then their heroes, Hero Command Group, Champion of the Night, Champion of Death, Champion of Wrath, Tomb Priest, Guardians of the Underworld, and Abba's Trigon, a general. Nice. Here's the humans. So the Vaindraw. So their special rule is Born Warriors. They may reroll a score of 1 or 6 scored during activation. Oh, that's cool. Their basic units are Blood Priestess, or their Amazons. Nice. And the elite units are Firstborn, the Barbarians, Ravagers of Sungals, Sozroots. The rare units are Reapers and Giants. Oh, those must be Giants, those big guys. The uniques are the Voltars, White Witches, some more Amazons, and the Elephanton. And heroes are Champion Command Group, Champion of Blood, Champion of Earth, Darkness, Priestess of Lust, the Old Hag, and the Bloody Chieftain. And here's the second one, the Doradus. So the kind of more Nordic blue-painted, pale with red hair, blue-painted barbarians. So their army special rule is Devoted to God. So basic and elite units in the Doradus army may reroll failed prayer tests. Nice. Their basic units are Brothers of Fire. Elite units are Wolf Maidens, Riders on Gridons, Wolf Brothers. Rare units, the Devoted, which are half-giants, and then Gigants. And the unique units, Sasquatches, so big hairy beast, Vilhars, and Elephanton. And then they've got Champion of Ice, Champion of Fire, Champion of Storm, Priest of the Old God, Fortune Teller, and a Great Hunter for their heroes. So here's the list of going through the game. Oh, nice. And they give you a simple list of scenarios. And also telling you the difficulty, probably start with as easy as possible so you can kind of get it down. And so then they show deployment for each of those scenarios. Nice. So build your armies, choose or draw a scenario, choose or draw a battlefield, deploy the armies, set up the terrain, and fight. Oh, here we go. Here's their points list. So an army is 500 to 999 points. It's 20 blood points. An army of 1,000 to less than 1,500 is 30. 1,500 to less than 2,000 is 40. Army of 2,000 points or more is 50 blood points. So how many blood points each side needs to score depends on the size of the army taking part. Once destroyed base, regardless of its type, is worth 1 blood point. Of course, players can agree on victory conditions and regulate the number of points as required. Nice. So yeah, so this is how many in a single army. That's how many basically ranks you have. How many bases of 4. All right. Yeah, and then just run through action dice placement, initiative test, unit actions, heroes actions, combat results. Yeah, this combination, I was a little disappointed to see so much black and white, but the combination of black and white and color sections is very nostalgic. And they printed, obviously they printed their black and white with color. You know, this is with color process because it's very rich and nice black and white, because you see they can even do sepia. So they're intentionally printing the black and white not to save money, but I think that combination is very nostalgic. And also, it shows off a lot. They got a lot of nice line art and things. And here's the afterword talking about the background for the game. Excellent. Oh, He-Man was an inspiration. Yeah, I can definitely tell. There's a nice 80s savage barbarian thing going on. And here's early concepts of the different races. And so we've got more tribes coming. It looks like there's a Chaos tribe and a little darker Barbarians riding spiders tribe. So looks like now there's a sun, or like a desert, and an ice by Barbarians. And I think there'll be a forest Barbarian group, and then there are 2 lizard factions, the water and the sun, and then looks like there's going to be a Chaos type faction, like a tainted faction. Oh, and a map too. Excellent. So here is where we're playing the world that we're fighting over. Yeah, I think the Sheol-morg is the where kind of the Chaos or maybe more demon-based forces are coming from, but this is the land we're fighting over in this game. Excellent. Wow, and yeah, just great art. Look at that. Great painting. So yeah, so spellcrow.com for everything that they have for sale, and you can download. They have a color PDF brochure that kind of goes over the factions of the game and everything, and you can get a PDF version of the rulebook directly from there. Well, nice. Yeah, good production value. The pages are nice and thick, and the mixture of black and white and color is very nostalgic. They could have easily gone full color, just with a lot of color borders and things on every page. But I like the mix talks about a certain time. That's great. So how many pages was that? I wasn't even paying attention. So about 64 page rulebook, and this is everything you need. Yeah, great production. So a d6 roll under with rolling not only initiative but number of activations in centimeters. So very cool. All right, so let's get at it. Okay, we'll start with the Barbarians. Take a look at these miniatures. So this army starter contains an army of Vendral, which you can start playing Argatoria wargame right away. So it includes 6 units and 4 heroes, with a total cost of about 600 army points. So all models are high quality resin cast with plastic bases. Set requires assembly, cleaning, and painting. Nice. Yeah, great art on the box. Yeah, look at that. Nice detail. So their army starter for the faction. Yeah, still, oh, that logo is that sells me right away on the game, and you kind of get the tone of the game immediately. So here's how everything comes. So if you've worked with resin before, you're going to be used to these big chunks that they're cast on. I forget what they're called. So this looks like our default Amazons. Look at that. That's 10 millimeter. Yeah, resin, of course, in this case is a very good choice, because if you tried to do this in plastic, you're going to lose a lot. Look at the detail on these guys. Nice. Yeah, and they did a nice job. So they're all kind of on these rectangular bases, so you're not going to be gluing tiny feet onto anything. They've given you something to actually glue on the base. So very easy to cut off. And they did them in one piece. Well, there's a channel on the shield, but there's not a lot of stuff to clip off. I think it's because of the scale as well. Those look really great. So just in the one, that's 8, and yeah, we don't have any duplication of, that's 8 different sculpts. Nice. So here's the backs to get a good view. Look at that. That's great. So my only experience with a 10 millimeter and 15 millimeter games have been stuff that I've 3D printed. So of course that that has its limitations, and depending on the quality of your printer is the quality of the detail. But these are great. Wow. And slotted. Here's your 25 mil bases in there. So 4, so 2 on each base. All right. Oh, and this looks like a command group. I see a banner in here. So these are all the Vandral. Oh no, these are heroes. Because look, round bases. So yeah, we have a looks like banners and musicians and champions, either with a two-handed sword or a battle axe, and then there's war drums. Nice. Yeah, these look great. Yeah, if you haven't dealt with resin before too, and this kind of cast resin, not 3D printed resin, is they probably need some release agent washed off. So they might not. They'll prime better if they're cleaned in just like some soapy water to make sure anything that was in the mold. But really, I can't get these close enough, and I can't say enough about the detail. And they've got a nice proportion to them. They're not ridiculously cartoony in their proportions, but they have that kind of nostalgic look. And I think you do have to go a little chunkier on your representation when you're going this small. Otherwise, like, hands and heads can just snap right off because you're doing little thin necks. And these are massive barbarians. So there's our heroes and their round bases. And I think we're going to get just duplications of our basic unit. Yeah, here's another basic infantry unit. So 8 models is going to be a single rank, 2 on a base, and then 4 bases. This must be an elite unit. So we have square bases. We have square bases in here. But our units are more savage men. Oh, I love the 2 swords above the head. But look at that. 8 separate sculpts. That's great. It's not just 8 of the same dude. Yeah, that'll add a lot of nice visual variety. And here's another. So I think it's at the Amazons were the base infantry unit. So these guys might be the elite. And again, there's 8 different sculpts. A little bit on the back there. Yeah, these will paint up really, really nicely. Oh, here's some bigger guys. Those looks like our giants. Yeah, and some hairy looking fellas. Oh wow, here we go. So these guys look like they are 1 to a base because we've got 4 square bases and we've got 4 guys. So look at these big old giants. Nice. So these will be the more naked ones, and I think the other human faction will be all fur covered. Nice, that's chainmail. Look at that, sorry. This chainmail all along there. Really great. Nice variety of textures, and the big belly plate. Very ogre style. And here's our other kind of non-human troop. And again, these are one per base because they're larger. They're kind of giant size models. Wow. Yep, so not a lot to trim. That's really good. And they've all got a base to stick onto. Yeah, I guess the so I'm surprised they are slotted bases. So that's the thing you should pay attention to. You're going to have to kind of maybe do a little filling, because if you want to stand them, so for example, if you wanted to stand one of these guys on a base, and this is, we've been doing this forever because I think the original old world fantasy, Warhammer Fantasy, they always used the slotted bases. So we've been, setting figures straight on slotted bases forever. But that's what you're going to be up against. So he's not, unless you set him diagonally, which will be a very strange looking army, you're going to have to fill a little bit on your base. But this is probably all that's made. These are probably the molds that exist for ranked miniatures that aren't, that are plastic, because these are the old school, very cool beveled plastic bases. So there is going to be a little bit of filling. So when you do your coverage, because he's going to stand like this, and you see that slot is going to be sticking out on both sides. So you do a little bit of filling because they're not made to actually slot in. But this is nice though, because this is old school, and like we were talking about, they fit nicely in the movement trays. Yeah. So we have another unit of the larger giants, one on a base. These ogre looking guys. Nice. Yeah, very fun to paint, and it's nice so we can make them all sunburnt. And then it looks like one more of the Amazons and one more of the all-male with the two-handed weapons. That is a lot of miniatures. So 600 points. Yeah, 4 units and 4 heroes. That is one starting army. Let me move this up so you can see. So in a starting army box, this is everything you get, and lots of bases. And so you can deploy those, depending on as large or as small, like a single rank or a larger. So single rank or as many as I believe the 4. So that's the maximum. Yeah. So that's the maximum. So 1 unit will almost be a square because it's 4 by 4. So that's the maximum unit size, and then 3 ranks. 2, and I think there's only bonuses up after the first rank, so similar to a lot of the war games. So this, so what are we looking at for a starting army? So starting armies are the retail for them on the Spellcrow website are in US dollars 62. So $62 for your whole starting army. So 600 points for $60. And then the individual units. So we still have these guys to take a look at. The individual units look like they're 12. So one of these clamshells will be 12. So let's take a look at these guys inside. So really nice, nostalgic. It's almost strange to see something with this nice retro look that isn't all yellow and bent and it's been around for 30 years. A new game that has a nice retro aesthetic. Look at that, yeah. Nice attention to detail. Yeah, all kinds of nostalgia there. So a sticker for the unit. So here's our 2 square bases. Oh, and our little promotion card talking about the Purple Warlock and their website. Nice. And oh, here's our 2 more bases. So a full rank of these guys. Oh yeah, so 4 beasts and 4 riders. So these heavy dinosaur-like mounts, these large lizard mounts with a kind of rhinoceros horn. Cool. Oh, and even, yeah, the sculpts vary. The positioning of the legs varies. So again, that's, oh, this is, nice job, guys. Nice job, Spellcrow. 4 different sculpts. Like this could just be the same thing, you know, over and over again. But it's 4 different sculpts, and maybe that has to do with the hand working. You know, gives you the opportunity to sculpt variants instead of the temptation with digital to just copy paste it. And here's our riders. Look at these guys. That's quite a stretch. It looks like they're saddles. Yeah, it looks like they've got saddles on them and then spears. Cool. Nice. So our heavy cavalry, the Vendra. Excellent. Yeah, so that's everything. Yeah, everything in the box, and you can see you can group it up or keep it more as a single rank. Oh, and I see that, and they're putting. So I have to take a look at the unit description, but they're putting multiple models on a round base to represent the groups, like command groups, I think they were calling them. So either command groups or a single hero. So sometimes they'll be multi-based round bases. Excellent. Wow. All right. So let's get our barbarians safely away so no war breaks out before we can finish this. And our lizardmen, the Aurochs, the sun lizards. Let's take a look. And so there's everybody plus our command group. Take a look at the back. Yep, so the army starter includes 6 units and 4, I'm sorry, 6 units. Yeah, 6 units and 4 heroes. That was the same as before. 6 units and 4 heroes for a total of 600 points. And that's nice. They keep them. I'm sure their abilities, they're differently abilitied, but they're even in points. That's a very good thing to have right out of the box, as you both can field 600 point armies. Very cool. Yeah, I can't wait to do some bright red, orange, and yellow lizardmen. And again, all the units are individually bagged, so they're a lot safer from each other. Nice, look at that. Yeah, they did a nice job. As one piece, they don't have that weird flatness or lack of... the poses are nice and dynamic. They don't have that lack of that very static kind of Egyptian hieroglyphics flatness that a lot of 90s miniatures. They look at those big fins, the big swords. It's nice. So here we go. So 8 different sculpts. Looks like 2 bannermen. Oh no, instruments, just sword and shield, it looks like. Oh, sorry, so here's our command group. And again, nice detail. I hope this is, coming across on the camera. Because these are tiny. I mean, yeah, this is my thumbnail. They'll fit right on a thumbnail, so yeah, 10mm is nice and tiny. That's great. So that's our command. Here looks like a special unit. Yeah, these big puffy frog. Look at that big frog jowl. Yeah, they did a nice. Oh, here's, yeah, it's lashing his tongue. Look at that. Yeah, nice lumpy heads. Wow. Very, very cool. Good variety. Yeah, these are going to be really fun to paint, to come up with some nice, brilliant color schemes. So got at least 2 ranks of these guys. Yeah, but these are 4 different sculpts because there's a different position with a tongue lashing and a different inflated inflated chin. Nice. So no weapons, just savagery and really really detailed posteriors as well. Oh, that's great. Alright, here's more. Yeah, it looks like more of our basic infantry unit. The larger frogmen with spears. How are those spear tips doing? They look, oh yeah, they look okay. It looks like they've just got a little bit of extra to shave off. A little wick on the end there, but it looks like stone, stone spearheads. But so here's the similar large guys with nice frilly crests on them and spears. So a little more armored. That's great. There's a lot of personality in these guys, and they're very opposite. The human faction. So I always like that. Human versus green skin, and choosing lizards. They're always a good opposite in aesthetics and everything. We won't have our final verdict until we get the game on the table, and of course we'll go over the painting process as well, just in case you haven't had any experience, because there's a lot of war games, like military recreation kind of historical war games that use tiny 10mm ranked soldiers. So there's tutorials for painting that scale for a lot of historical, but as far as fantasy, that is not as common. These are great spearmen. So no crests, just the... Yeah, it looks like all the spearheads are nice, like flint, like sharpened stone spearheads. Those will look cool. A little highlighting and just a little bit of shading and things on this tiny scale goes a long way. Yeah, here's another rank of these spearmen. 8 separate sculpts. That's great. And here's our larger crested lizardmen again. Yeah, we saw these guys as well, and their bases, and one more of the spearmen. Yeah. So it looks like you get each a bag of the command groups and heroes with the round bases, and then the rest of the bags are all the ranked soldiers, either larger infantry or smaller. So a little spearmen again. Well, that's a nice variety as well for the lizardmen. So the Aerox. So nice units. Yeah, look at these bigger. Yeah, here's the crest. Oops, here's the crested units, and here's the just the big bullfrogs. Yeah, nice bright reds and greens. All right, and now we have to take a look at this, the Saurus with a sun monument. Oh, they're not messing around. There's a big base. Nice. So what is that, like 75 by 50. Yeah, so he goes on a big... Oh yeah, and here's why. So he's in 2 pieces of the Dosaurus. Look at that. Cool. Oh, he's even got separate... Yeah, there's separate legs as well. So there's his head, a nice texturing on all of his scales. And here's his... Looks like his harness and some horns. And a rider. And here's our sun monolith, it looks like. So a sunstone and a spiky monolith, and then a big crest. Wow. And then one more. Oh, here's the rest. Yeah, here's his legs. His other legs and 2 more tusks. Very nice. So is there a picture? Maybe we'll take a look real quick in the book. That's a lot of pieces. That's a big unit. That's great. Yeah, and you can just tell by the base size. That is a large unit. Yeah, but the priest who's riding him and his scepter. Let's take a quick look. Let's see if we can see him all built. I think the website has a painted version, but he looks excellent. That is a heavy piece of miniature. Yeah, he'll be very, very cool. All put together on this giant base. I gotta make sure I get some fine sand to make this not look crazy. Wow. So there are that's everything with the Arox. So that's a starter set. So there's a starter box. So 600 points plus 1 more heavy unit, like large elite unit. And that is everything. Well, thank you so much, Spellcrow, for letting us try out your game. This looks like 2 really fun armies to try out. So we'll be doing 600 plus points of Barbarians versus Lizardmen very soon. And I think the Amazons will convince Chris that this is a game that needs to be tried. And here's our pins again. Now let's take a look at these guys. Our pins again. Yeah, I think they do conventions, so they produce some nice swag for the conventions. Very cool. Oh. So yeah, doing iconography for the factions is definitely having it be very identifiable, very useful. Well, excellent. So this is the unboxing of everything that we were sent, and this is brand new. So if you're looking to check out the game, you can get a PDF version of this right now and see what the rules look like. And this is one of those situations where you do really want to support a game, because they're not taking this to crowdfunding. They're putting this on their site. They're connecting with people, having people take a look at their stuff, give their reviews, and they're getting feedback from the community. So it's well worth supporting a company that's giving this approach a shot. This looks like it has a ton of old school charm, but it's a unique system that does fun things with D6s and even uses them as movement tools. So now I've got to find maybe some red. I'll find some nice red and gold D6s for the and they recommend the 12 millimeter if you're going to use them for movement. And I think especially with this scale of miniature. Yeah, so now you can see away from the lens how tiny we're actually talking. But I'll definitely get these cleaned up and primed, and then we'll do a nice painting video for you guys to see the kind of results you can get. And I think I'm probably going to use... I had a lot of luck with contrast paints and speed paints for when we were doing War Master. So my Skaven and everything looked nice and grimy using that technique. So I might do this. I think I've got some nice bright colors that'll work well for the Arox. And I think I have even a sunburnt kind of that dwarf flesh for fire dwarf flesh that will work well on the barbarians. So nice. So a very very fun game to try out, and yeah, take a look at it. And it's great that they they're starting out with 4 armies. They've got their physical English books are done, and they're ready to get out there and get played. So we will try to get this on the table as soon as possible, and we'll do it kind of step by step so you can see the whole process of putting together the armies and how everything worked out. But yeah, I'm really the quality of everything is very nice. The detail is amazing for 10 millimeter. It really, unless you are really enjoying the hobby of 3D printing, and love the technical aspect and tweaking the layers and the timing and everything, something like this is nice. Like right out of the box, you can start the hobby. You're not playing around with getting things printed, and they give you such a nice variety of sculpts that I don't think you're going to be missing anything. And it's definitely updated in as far as the quality. I don't think on this scale things have looked like this in the past. So good job, Spellcrow. I'm really impressed by so far just the quality of everything. Your production and how everything looks is really great. It looks very exciting. Oh yeah, there's our logos right now. Nice, they did that. Yeah, they got it reinforced on the box. So our Sun Barbarians. Yeah, very cool. So we will be seeing you'll be seeing more of this on the channel, and yeah, I really I can't wait to see how this plays, because we've had experience now. So we did a couple of games of War Master, and we've done games of Oathmark on the channel, which is another fantasy ranked but miniatures agnostic. So games that aren't miniatures agnostic are really worth supporting, because the sales of the miniatures, help keep new editions, new expansions of the game. So if you buy, one of these, the 4 original armies that are in the book, that means that's going to give them the ability to produce more. And it looks like they already have things, spelled out for where the next armies are coming from on the website. So you'll get to see that actually happen. And yeah, for $60 to have a ready to go army, I mean, basically for $100 you have a huge army right out of the gate, and there isn't anything that's on this number of troops. What you're representing is this number of troops that you can do for that, because the larger, like the 28 millimeter fantasy games, it's a huge investment, and also a huge amount of time to get everything painted, because the difference between painting 10 millimeter and 28 is huge. So we will get this going as soon as possible, and yeah, really appreciate letting us have the opportunity to see the product. Yeah, really happy with how everything looks right now, and can't wait to get our 90 by 150 one. Yeah, we'll see what kind of table we can put together and then go at it. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll put links to the Spellcrow website, as well as other information, their social media and everything. So if this game looks interesting to you, you can take a look at it yourself and see what the community is like, and see how things look for you. But this is a great chance to get a sample of this game, and we will let you know our full, what we liked and what we didn't like. And especially Chris is really good at like comparing rule systems and kind of distilling things down to this works well, this doesn't work as well. And this will be another interesting approach. So D6s, so it feels very old school, has a nice old school aesthetic. Lizardmen versus humans in a wasteland, beautiful. So I can't wait to do some more content on this game for you guys. So thanks again for watching, and upturntable.com is the website. Chris and I do the weekly live every Thursday night in North America and kind of Western Hemisphere time, and about lunchtime on Friday if you're on this side of the world, so Australia and Asia. And Upturn Table on all social media, and patreon.com/upturntable if you want to support us and see the videos that we're doing for this series first, and also see other things that we've done and kind of larger, supercuts of it, or actual plays and things. There's larger versions of everything that are exclusive to patrons and also members of YouTube. So the join button below also gets you access to those same videos, and subscribing will give you a notification on when we go live on Fridays and when new videos go up. We post everything on both Twitch and YouTube. And thank you so much for joining me. See you again next time. Goodbye.